I have spent more than a century piecing together the fragments of this story. It was buried deep within the archives of a dozen civilizations. Sealed records, classified transmissions, fragments of intercepted human broadcasts. What happened during the Control Initiative was never meant to be remembered. And yet, some truths refuse to stay buried. The galaxy is vast, its empires older than Earth itself. Many of these civilizations believed themselves wise, advanced, superior. To them, humanity was a primitive species, loud, volatile, emotional, unpredictable, not dangerous, at least not yet. And that assumption, that arrogance, was their first mistake. It began with a council decree signed in the shining heart of the Telerax Concord. I've read the transcript 100 times. The alien ministers spoke of guidance, of integration, of soft control over Earth to stabilize an unstable species. Their fleets descended on the outer edge of the solar system, not with fire, but with silver tongues and invisible chains. They believed control was more elegant than conquest. The first step was information. They embedded their advisors into human infrastructure, artificial intelligence units far beyond what Earth had at the time. These systems offered solutions to humanity's problems. Energy crises ended, diseases vanished, transportation, communication, agriculture, all became faster, cleaner, more efficient. Humanity welcomed them with open arms, but every problem solved came with a hidden price. I found early resistance logs from the Titan colonies. A message from an engineer named Marcus Lorne repeats like a desperate warning. They are not giving us tools. They are giving us cages. Few listened. The second step was behavioral conditioning. The aliens believed humans could be made docile. They initiated programs that rewarded compliance. Subtle adjustments to social networks, atmospheric frequencies designed to calm aggression, engineered narratives that made rebellion feel unnecessary. And at first, it worked. Wars between human nations slowed, civil unrest declined. Humanity began to follow alien advisories without question. The Telerax called it the harmonization, but they didn't understand what harmony meant to humans. Because beneath the silence, beneath the peace, something else was growing, something ancient, something unbreakable. I have read thousands of battle reports, psychological profiles, personal diaries. Again and again, one word returns, written by soldiers, teachers, miners, mothers, prisoners: freedom. The aliens tried to rewrite human instincts. But they underestimated what happens when you try to put a leash on something that has learned to fight its way through extinction after extinction. The first fractures appeared on Mars. A single transport worker refused to follow a directive to stand down. His resistance sparked a riot. The riot sparked a rebellion. The Telerax thought they could suppress it. They were wrong. According to surviving data logs, the Telerax response was swift and precise. Their control fleets flooded the Martian orbit, broadcasting pacification signals. They believed resistance was a glitch, not a movement. But humanity is not a line of code. Every time the aliens tried to tighten their control, humans adapted. They jammed frequencies with improvised technology, disrupted pacification fields with jury-rigged resonance devices. Ordinary miners became engineers overnight. Civilians became tacticians. And their defiance spread like wildfire. Records indicate that at first, the aliens laughed at the idea of human rebellion. A single worker revolt was nothing compared to their millennia-old fleets. Their commanders saw humans as manageable subjects, not adversaries. That arrogance blinded them to the speed at which human rage mutates into strategy. By the third month of unrest, multiple colonies across the solar system were in open defiance. Venus Station turned off its advisory corps. Earth-based governments splintered into underground cells. Resistance groups formed under names like the Free Directive, the Last Voice, Firestorm. The aliens initiated what they called Phase 2 of harmonization, targeted removal of human leadership. Drones swept through cities and colonies, extracting or erasing anyone capable of inspiring resistance. But they failed to realize something fundamental about humans. Leadership to humans is not a single face. It's an idea, and ideas can't be extracted. I read a data log from a captured alien officer during this period. Translated into standard, it reads, "We are not fighting a military. We are fighting a storm made of people. It moves without a single center. It burns through control like acid." The moment that broke the illusion came in the Battle of Olympus Mons. Telerax Command believed Mars would be pacified within 24 hours. Instead, the fight lasted 47 days. No single human army faced them. Instead, it was wave after wave of coordinated strikes, civilians in stolen mining suits, soldiers with improvised EMP cannons, entire families smuggling food and data between tunnels like veins of living resistance. The aliens had superior ships, superior technology, superior numbers, but they had one crippling disadvantage: they believed in control. Humans believed in chaos. I have listened to the surviving black box audio from the final Telerax cruiser that fell over Olympus Mons. Static, alarms, distant screams, and then a calm human voice breaking through their comms, recorded clearly, "You should have left us alone." This line spread faster than any weapon. It became the symbol of the rebellion. The Telerax were forced to do something they had never done before: retreat. But retreat was not the end. It was the beginning of something far worse for them. When control shattered, fear spread through their empire like a virus. They had underestimated humanity. Not because of our strength, but because of our refusal to bend. Every tactic they deployed to break human will had backfired. Pacification made humans angry. Manipulation made them smarter. Violence made them relentless. I've seen the aftermath in recovered footage. Entire Telerax fleets burning in Martian orbit. Command ships being overrun by humans wearing scavenged armor. It wasn't organized warfare. It was something far more terrifying. Instinctual resistance turned into collective strategy. Within 2 years, humanity had pushed the Telerax from the solar system entirely. Empires that once laughed at Earth now watched with silent dread. No one expected a species barely out of its cradle to push back against a civilization older than some stars, and yet, we did. What followed after the war is the part that most alien records try to erase. The Telerax Empire was not simply defeated. It was fundamentally broken. Their entire system was built on predictable compliance. For thousands of years, they had subjugated worlds through subtle control, never through direct war. But humanity didn't just resist. Humanity shattered the system itself. Every world they once ruled saw the Telerax retreat and thought, if humans can fight them, so can we. Entire sectors erupted in rebellion. Species that had been silent for centuries rose up, emboldened by a primitive species from the blue planet. What began as an attempt to control humanity turned into a chain reaction that shook the entire galactic order. I've read surviving Telerax Council transcripts. They speak of humans as if describing a storm that refuses to pass. Words like irrational, uncontrollable, dangerous. But buried deeper in those same files are other words, whispered in fear, not arrogance, unbreakable, infectious, impossible to contain. The more they tried to define us, the less they understood us. Because the truth they could never grasp was simple. Humans are not built to obey. We are built to endure, to adapt, to fight. When there is nothing left to fight with, you can chain a limb, you can cage a body, but you cannot program a human soul. In the aftermath of their defeat, the Telerax retreated beyond the Perseus Fringe. No fleet has returned since. Their empire fractured into isolated colonies. Meanwhile, humanity changed forever. No longer the naive species that welcomed their guidance. We became something else. Something the galaxy still whispers about. The species that cannot be controlled. This story has been told in fragments, in whispers, in warnings, in fear. The official histories of the Telerax call it the human catastrophe, but to humans it has another name, the day we said no. And that moment became a warning for every empire that ever thought to make us kneel. I end this record with the final transmission intercepted from the last Telerax command ship before it vanished. Do not touch the humans. They do not break. They break you. For centuries, civilizations believed control was power. They were wrong. Power is not in control. Power is in the will to rise again and again, even when the stars themselves burn against you. That is the human mistake they will never make again.